A process essay generally walks the reader through how a process is completed step by step. It helps the reader get a deeper understanding of how the process works, and it helps demonstrate to your teacher that you have deep understanding and knowledge about the process. Along the left-hand side here is the general structure on how to write a process essay. Make sure you pay attention in steps 1, 2, and 3, because I'll show you how to demonstrate depth of knowledge about the process. As always, there are some principles for you if you want to download some essay plan and templates. They're all in the description below. They provide the AI prompts that we'll be talking about that help you brainstorm while creating the essay. The prompts will help you brainstorm, but not write the essay. You'll need to do that yourself as we continue to adhere to ethical AI principles. So starting with the introduction is going to have to prosecute a thesis statement that you will cover throughout the essay. Even process essays generally do have thesis statements, but they're not the same as argumentative essays. The most common two structures for process essay statements are process is only successful if, and then the steps are followed. Or success in process is demonstrated when, and then a mention of what success looks like. So we can create some AI prompts to brainstorm some ideas for you here. You can pause if you want to read that prompt, but it's a prompt that I created to come up with some ideas. Once you've asked the AI to give you some ideas for process essay thesis statements, use that as well as your own thinking and your own input to create your own process essay statement for whatever the topic is you're covering. After you've done the introduction where you talk about the thesis statement, you'll move on to a section talking about materials required. Now, this section is only necessary if there are materials required, but if there are materials that you need in order to do the process, make sure you discuss them before you move into each of the steps along the way of the process. Next up is the body of the essay where you talk about the steps required in the process. Make sure that the steps are in logical order. That's generally chronological, what happens first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. An easy way to think about it is you write one full paragraph per step, and in each paragraph, you're going to go into detail about how the step is conducted. I recommend brainstorming the steps before you write it so that you know exactly which steps you will discuss one after the other. If you don't brainstorm in advance, you'll start realizing that you missed steps as you write. You can, as usual, use AI to help you brainstorm the steps, but remember, AI might be wrong. You need to use your own thinking. So here's an example of me asking AI the process in building an electronic circuit. So you can see I straight up asked ChatGPT and it listed all of the steps it thinks are required. It's very rare that the AI will produce the steps that are the ones that you are going to end up writing about step by step. You're usually going to insert steps here and there, remove steps that AI has come up with that are irrelevant. Okay, so here's some important points for moving your essay from okay to really strong. In a process essay, you don't just describe the steps, you also want to go into detail about what challenges might be faced. So where could the person go wrong and how can you clear up those misunderstandings in each step to ensure success? You could also talk about what not to do, so include common mistakes and highlight to the readers that they need to avoid the certain mistakes that are common when going through these steps. This demonstrates your depth of knowledge and expertise in the process. Another thing you can cover when talking about each step is the rationale. Why is it that I am doing this step in this point along the process? So for example, why does this step come before the next one and not after it? And another thing you can cover in your paragraph about the step is what success looks like at the end of this step. You can usually do that in the final sentence of the paragraph to say, this is what success looks like. If success has been achieved, we can transition to the next step. So that's your transition sentence at the end of the paragraph. After you've covered each of the main steps involved in the process, you may need to do an evaluation. This really does depend upon the instructions provided by your teacher. You can always ask your teacher if an evaluation is necessary, but if there is an evaluation step necessary, it often takes place after the process is described. And usually during the evaluation, you talk about the pros and cons or the benefits and limitations of this process that you selected. Then you would look at alternative processes that could also have been used to achieve the same result and the benefits and limitations of the alternative processes. If you need to do an evaluation, I have provided an analysis of a process worksheet that you can go through. It has some helpful brainstorming AI prompts in there as well. Lastly, you need to do a conclusion, referring back to your thesis statement. So if I jump back to the thesis statement structure, and let's go with this second one here. Success in process is demonstrated when, and then what success looks like. In the conclusion, you can refer back to this thesis statement and say, after completing the steps, this is what the success will look like. So you're referring back to your thesis statement. Another thing that you can do in the conclusion is explain what are the benefits of having completed this process, which usually is a nice way to wrap up a process essay. Don't forget to grab your process essay plan in the description below. It's a template that has a bunch of AI prompts to help you brainstorm the ideas before you write the thing yourself. I've also provided some other materials as well, such as common transition words you might want to use in a process essay. While you're over downloading the process essay template pack, you can also grab the ultimate AI prompt pack for students. It teaches you how to write high quality prompts to help you brainstorm at university using AI ethically. So it won't teach you how to use AI to cheat, but it will teach you how to use AI as an effective brainstorming assistant. I highly recommend it. Grab that in the link in the description as well.